truth. One thing that's true for me is the importance of a practice, to stay steady in one's practice through good times and bad. I mean, maybe the good times you're always in gratitude and you're celebrating and you're mindful to say the thank you prayers. But when when there's a challenge, are you still in that practice? Are you just begging, or are you always finding the bright light that still shines even in the darkness? I've invited two people that have gone through some great challenges here in Los Angeles, but they are going on an amazing healing journey. They're going to share that with us. Stay tuned, because we're going to be hearing some beautiful music live from the Truth Be Told studios. Welcome, Michael and Jahna.
Hi,
Hi.
Bonnie. Thank you.
All right,
for
so
having
the
us.
quick story. Victims of the Palisades fires in January of 2025. I'm very, very sorry, and I send you my healing.
Thank
You too. I mean, here you are showing up, coming all the way across town to be with us. And I just know that I've had a chance to listen to some of your music. This is my first time in person.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see how sound healing, the resonance of what you do is helping you stay steady and strong in your practice and to go through this absolutely horrendous experience.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share about this, because I really believe that even though we personally lost our home, it was of 20 years, and that's really been very challenging, I'm completely aware of how we're not alone, and that everybody, no matter if they lost their home or if they haven't, has experienced this kind of challenge where it's like everything feels topsy-turvy, and where do we find our grounding? Where do we find ourself? So I don't believe like it's us and then somebody, it's very much an interconnectivity that exists.
And it also starts with mindset. Like,
Okay.
we don't call ourselves fire victims, we call ourselves fire survivors.
Thank you.
And that's how I like to look at it and how I approach every day. And it's probably due to my practice. I've been meditating since I was 17. And so that practice has helped, and the self-study, all the self-work that I've done. But we did a sound bath for a week after our house burned down for the Altadena fire survivors.
Okay.
And people are saying,
That was really
I
powerful.
can't believe you guys wanted to do this. And I said, I couldn't believe not doing it.
Yeah.
It's an imperative for us.
Yeah.
Well, right. It's become such a complete opportunity to realize the power of this practice and of the years that we've been giving to it, both mindfulness and the sound. There's it's like this otherworldly grounding, anchoring that we've experienced over and over again within the context of these bowls and the people that we've had the honor to be with, that has created a sense of holding and a sense of resilience and rising.
Yeah, exactly. Well, can we get a sample of
Sure.
what it feels like, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how you're doing it and with what you are doing it.
Be our honor. So I invite everybody here in the room and out on the internet or wherever you're watching this, just to allow yourself to be where you are right now. There's nothing to reach for, nothing to try to be. We can relax in where we are and who we are. And so as we settle in and we feel into our bodies, sitting here on the chairs, or if you're perhaps on a couch, even standing, just becoming aware of your body and the space you're in. And from that place, softening your body, opening your ears to sound.
Aho. Namaste. Wow. Let's everybody take a deep breath and imbibe in that. Okay, thank you both very, very much. I'm going to share some impressions I have. First of all, for those of you that are not watching on our YouTube channel, which, by the way, is the Club Paranormal, I just want to say that Michael has 13 bowls here. And Jahna, I just wanted to say to you that I felt I almost wanted to start singing with you. I guess the word I would use is toning with you. And so I think that my body felt like it wanted to be a singing bowl also.
Yes, I would love that.
So,
I would love that.
Well, we're not going to scare off any listeners here, but I do think that was an interesting response for sure. So, Mike, I'm going to let you start by talking a little bit about this beautiful collection of their Tibetan bowls, Himalayan
They're
singing
from the
bowls.
Himalayas. They're mostly from Nepal, Tibet, Bhutan, and India. And these I've collected throughout the years. The oldest one's somewhere around 600 years old. It's for those watching at home, it's this one over here in the corner. Anyway, so and those are most of them are in the 400 to 500 year old range. And I had a friend I came to it from a very techie kind of thing. I've been in sound since I was 19 years. Years old. I was working professionally in the sound business, and I was at a meditation, and somebody was playing sing bowl. And I went, wait a minute. That frequency, I should be able to tell exactly where it's coming from, but it sounds like it's coming from all around me.
Interesting.
So that made me go, well, what is this, voodoo?
Yeah.
And then so I started finding out and inquiring and asking about it. And then I found this company called Bodhisattva Trading Company, thinking they were in India. They turned out to be in Culver City.
Nice.
So Shakti over there was always, she's just been wonderful and big help throughout the years. As a matter of fact, she even gave me, after the fires, one of our bowls that I was able to save about 2/3 of the bowls. We had 20 minutes to get out.
I just wanted
So
to
she
point
gave
that
me
out.
this one really beautiful bowl.
Oh my gosh,
400
thank
years
you.
old. So shout out to Shakti.
What's it called again?
Bodhisattva Trading Company.
Okay, thank you to them
Yeah,
for
thank
their
you.
generosity
Absolutely.
in making sure that you had the tools that we
Yes.
all need.
And
Very
it just
much
made
so.
us feel at home and comforted and held because of the generosity in this city and the people, not even just in the city, across the country.
That's amazing. So, Jahna, again, your voice invokes. I feel angelic, but I also feel there's almost a sort of, what would the term I want to use be? Alien, perhaps, but that has a
Thank you.
little bit of a negative charge. So
Yeah.
we're really talking about our celestial, our
Yes.
extraplanetary brethren. And I just want to say, it's not something I mentioned to you about our show, but truth be told, definitely was founded with an exploration of the UFOs, extraterrestrial. And so I just want you to know that it's interesting that when I first listened to your music prior to this interview, I was definitely in the angelic realm. And then when I come here, and Tony Sweet's here in the studio, I'm feeling it's really kind of what we do, is that we definitely like to, I don't know,
Yeah,
speak to the beyond.
well, so it's been a process these last many years. I come from a classical background, like a nightclub kind of that kind of singing, very formulaic, and so to drop into allowing the sounds to come through a deep trust has been a process. And one thing that the fires did offer me was a sense of, yes, I can't explain it. Just gave me permission to completely be that honest, aware being. I don't know if I'm uncomfortable using the word channel at this point, but really allowing that sound to come through, whatever it is.
I'm comfortable with channel.
Well, I feel like all artists are channels, and I feel that all of us perhaps are even channels in whatever our area of expertise is. I do a lot of social media marketing, and I'll start with I have no idea what I'm going to say, and then all of a sudden I have these great ideas, even something crazy like, oh wow, this is happening on this actual day, and I just had this notion to check it out. I'm like, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're in the flow,
Yep.
and that's what I think it's a good word to talk about.
That's actually a really great word to talk about. In fact, a song that we just wrote is called "Cool in the River," but the whole concept is flowing with the river. That's the whole motto and feeling behind it. And these bowls are always about flow. And when we get into the toning part of it, it is like I'm never sure exactly where it's going to go. And,
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
trusting in that. And
That part I can definitely see.
Yeah.
So we are going to hear some more music, so do stay with us as we keep talking here.
Sure.
But I want to ask a question about, you've got the Resilience Rising Tour. And so I'd like to talk about resilience. And one of the things when we were introduced by our friend Karen.
Yes.
Hi, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
And just one of the first things that came up was how you're doing okay, despite the challenges that you're in. You're doing okay, and how this practice and the presence that this offers is getting you through. So I'd like to talk about resilience, please.
Well, I think resilience is something that I didn't realize how much I had until I went through this. I think I had a preconceived idea of what it would be like to lose my home. And in fact, I remember going to Malibu and helping the people there that lost their home. And I remember being so aware of how my heart was with them totally, and hearing in the back of my head, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to handle that if that happened. I remember that. And then so when it happened, I was like, wow, here it is. And although there's a part of me that's so sad, there's a part of me that's like, wow, so what's new? What's open? What's here? What am I to learn from this?
Okay.
And so the resilience part has been about both and. And in those moments when I feel completely like in the grief, I tap into the feeling that I feel when I'm practicing with the bowls and the sound and meditation. And I almost feel like it's a language that's holding me. Trusting, trust, keep going, you're okay.
Okay. I love that. What about for you, Michael?
What does resilience mean to me? Resilience is, we call it tour Resilience Rising, because it's always there. It rises up when we need it. So I just feel like, okay, this happened. Well, we've got to show up, and this is what we have to do now. And so the resilience rises up from within inside.
Yeah.
That was always there, and it comes up when it's needed. And so that's what it means to me. It's the power to flow, back to the flow word, to flow with what's happening and not create a story about it, and not get caught up into the story. That's why we're survivors, not victims.
Yeah,
This is something that happened. It's not something that happened to us. Something that happened, it affected a lot of people. It does affect us, but it's what we do with it.
And I also recognize that for that other people, it does feel like a devastation, and I do understand that. And what I want to kind of comment upon is that even having that feeling, there's no shame in that. It's a very real human experience to feel that, and we still can rise from it. Because when I have been in great despair, I couldn't feel that I could rise, and it took other people reminding me that I could. So that's really kind of what I really want to say, that I'm here being able to say I can be resilient because I've walked through not feeling I could be.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's another word I just love, and I use it in a lot of different ways, and it's literal in this instance is resonance. And I feel that what you're doing is it's so resonant, like literally and figuratively, and I think it helps with presence. And we had a conversation prior to being here about, I just feel that sound baths really help the nervous system, which has been very necessary. 2025 has really, I think, has amped up a lot of people's nervous systems. We're taking in a lot of information. We're processing a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And I think this brings us back to present. And you are a mindfulness expert, right? Teacher.
Yes, through UCLA.
Fantastic. And so again, you're having to walk your own talk.
Yes.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so through all of this.
It really, it's learning what to resonate with, right? Like for me, it's noticing that there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear arising, in our field, not just because of the fires, but because of everything that's going on.
Oh.
That, and we're all feeling that. And so, how much of that is story? How much of that is someone else's feelings, not mine? How much of that is something I really do need to pay attention to? And how much of it can I kind of compartmentalize, allow it to be where it is, give myself a break? Because I think all of these are parts of being resilient, truly.
I love that.
You know?
Thank you. That feels really good.
Yeah, good.
So there's 2 dates you have coming up in Los Angeles on May 11th and May 22nd.
Right.
All right. So I know if you're on YouTube, you can see the URL there. I will mention michaelandjahna.com. And Jahna is spelled JAHNA.com. To see the specifics. You want to let us know a little bit about these 2 shows?
Absolutely. So May 11th, we have a monthly community gathering. It's everybody. It's free. If you want to donate, that's fine. But we just do it for the community. We've been doing it for how many years?
6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
about
I
6
can't
or 7
believe I'm
years.
just now getting... Where have I been?
But you're
Oh,
over
we need
here.
a publicist.
Hmm.
Anybody want to be a
We
publicist?
do. But yeah, and it's just beautiful. People from the community come. We actually are now doing it online as well, and it's at a Michael's sound studio. So it's a beautiful place to just really relax because it's soundproof. And then on the 22nd, we're doing an event at the Hammer Museum as part of the UCLA Mindful organization with Diana Winston, who's the director of UCLA Mindful there.
That's incredible.
And it's
I love that space.
Oh, I love it too.
I mean, run to take advantage of of this opportunity to see you and to see you in such a pretty place.
What's
so.
really cool is the bowls in this auditorium that seats 300 people. That because of the mat that I invented, we can pipe the bowls for the whole place, and we fill the auditorium with sound.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because they have
Is this
speakers
the
everywhere.
Billy Wilder
Yes.
theater
Yes, it is.
with the pink leather seats?
And
they're probably
yes.
pleather, but
Yeah.
I think they're pleather, but it's free. It's free to the public, to everybody, free, and you can even watch it online.
that I will do.
So yeah,
Since I won't be here, but I hope to make that show
right.
on the 11th.
Yeah.
So set us up for a little bit more music. I want to hear. Let's have another piece from you right now.
Well, you want to
Yeah,
talk
well,
about it?
One of the things that we do is we incorporate many different instruments, not only the singing bowls, but we've added, and the voice. We've added the handpan, which is a beautiful sounding device, plus flutes. The flutes that I play were made by a gentleman named Brent Haynes, who has a company called Wood Sounds, and he makes these beautiful sounding flutes. And together, it just goes so well with all the sound healing other instruments that we play.
And one of the reasons that we do it specifically is not just to create, hopefully, a beautiful atmosphere and space for people, but to offer people different kinds of sounds, because it gives people choice of what they can kind of relax into, because we don't know when we're doing an event with hundreds of people. So we like to offer things for people to kind of feel into.
I have a quick example on that. I think we all have different instruments that we are used to hearing. And in one, I was over in Ireland, and the harmonium was being played in a sound bath. And some of the friends didn't like the sound of the harmonium. It wasn't for them.
Yep.
And there
I can
was
see that.
so and for me, when I hear harmonium, it immediately gets me into my yoga kirtan mode. So it locks me in very quickly into devotion.
Right.
From my teacher in Dharma Mitra in New York, way back in the 90s, and he would play the harmonium. It was probably one of the first times I heard it. And so it's just interesting to see how I guess we all have our favorite instruments.
We do. We have these friends that are friends. They are friends. They've come for years to our events, and we started bringing in more gongs. We don't have any here today right now.
You'll have to go to the events.
Yeah, right, because it wasn't space. But he would say, absolutely love the bowls, don't like the gongs, and it was just like, yeah.
But I know some people have some sensitivity to the gong.
I understand
For sure.
that, for sure.
Okay, so back to the flute. Are we going to play that, Michael?
Yes. So,
If I
so if we can,
can I lift this? Because I just don't want it to buzz.
Yeah.
you could, if we can pop this up.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, all right, beautiful.
Thank you. I love the flute, and it's really amazing to think about how ancient that was. I mean, you're mentioning how these Himalayan bowls, the singing bowls, made of brass, correct?
Well, they're made of bronze,
Oh,
which
bronze.
is a high tin. They're made of a high tin bronze, along with the 7 sacred metals mixed in, but in small quantities. But primarily, it's copper and tin, as
Okay.
opposed to copper and zinc, which is brass is copper and zinc. These are copper and tin.
So they were able to figure that out 600 years ago, maybe even longer. I mean, we certainly have jewelry from long ago, but the flute has to be even older. I mean,
Yeah.
can you think about that? That's probably from some of the earliest days that they were playing around with the stick.
Right.
Who's they? I don't know. I'm like, our Neanderthal relatives were somehow figured out.
Yeah.
This makes noise.
When I
with
do
the,
this, it makes a sound,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So, and that's certainly not to take away from the elegance of the flute that you're playing. It's great, and yet we're talking wood here, so right.
Well, so it's very ancient, and all the cells within it, are from wherever go, and just the sound.
How about
I
the
mean, you
tree
can-
itself?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this is
right?
made from an old olive tree.
Okay.
It's olive wood.
Yeah. So there's probably all kinds of lore in the same way that oak trees are so revered. I would imagine that olive trees have their own legacy and lore along the way.
'Cause
They
they
could
live
be
so
all
long.
part of it. So I just think I don't know, I'm having just a greater and greater appreciation of every instrument and how it's got its own story to tell, and you're helping release that story through.
Well, it reminds me. You said you were in Ireland, and when we were in Ireland, we were walking through a forest, and I don't know what happened, but you placed your hand on this tree, and tell them because
Well, I just immediately got the download of the history of this tree. It was just
In, like,
it was
oh,
so powerful.
wow.
It was so
it just
crazy.
came like through him.
Yeah.
And honestly, you've not played flute for as long as you've played all your other instruments,
Right.
and
I
this
think
flute
the
is
flute
just not
a year ago,
flowing.
or- I think it was a year ago or two.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. It's
Let's
great
call
that
to
you
that.
brought that up.
When I hear the flute, I mean, it harkens back to, we talked about this before. It harkens back to Native American flute playing, and it need not. I'm sure that could be Celtic for all I know. But it made me want to sort of speak to you about maybe the heritage of some of these instruments and how East meets West. What your studies are as far as understanding these instruments.
Well, one thing that I just feel fascinated and greatly inspired by is that these are Asian, right? And they're ancient. These are, well, the history of playing bowls goes back thousands and thousands of years. These happen to be around 300 to 600 years old. But here we're taking, and thank God, we're bringing this ancient healing technology into our modern day and science-based understanding. So somehow individuals knew, they created these bowls, these instruments, and they started to play them, and they started to reach those other areas of understanding, if you will, because we do go into other states. And now we know through modern science that we actually physiologically do go into other states.
Yeah, and there are paintings in India that go back 2,500 years that show monks meditating with a sound bowl, because the resonance. Part of it, it's many factors as to why they did that. And part of it is the resonance. There's science behind it. The law of resonance states that anything that vibrates responds to vibration. Okay. Our cells are all vibrating all the time, so they respond to the bowl. For me, that's one of the most powerful instruments for making the cells vibrate in sync with the bowls. So that's why I think they have such a profound effect and profound resonance on people, the bowls. They can also make people feel very uncomfortable because they're not used to being aligned. It's like getting a massage. Sometimes there's knots and they're not comfortable with that. Well,
Right.
Same thing happens on a cellular level with the bowls. So you have to just let it go and relax. Otherwise, you'll find it uncomfortable.
Inviting it in or taking some deep breaths, you know how it is. It's like, oh, I'm on the top of that wave. Just stay with it, breathe, and it'll crest and it will settle in, And I think that the bowls and these processes give us that space and that sense of safety to be within that. as these bowls are playing, the science has shown us, and it's new science, but it's really exciting. It's really promising. And what it's been showing us is that our brain will begin to entrain with certain frequency beats, and the entrainment will help to bring our bodies into more meditative states, more open states, more creative states like alpha and theta. And that's happening on a cellular level. So that real sense of expansion and openness is real. And we're brought into that through this mechanism.
And we need it.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, it's just, I wanted to ask, people will be hearing this as a recording online. So to what extent do we, I mean, it still helps us, right? Even if we're just hearing it digitally.
Yes.
A digital reproduction.
Sure.
You want to talk about your mat?
Well, that's part of why I invented this mat, so I could most capture the complex harmonics, the complex harmonics of the bowls, because it is those frequencies and the interplay of frequencies that if you're listening with good headphones, you can have the same experience almost of the brain. It's not a full body experience like when you're in person, but as far as for your brain entrainment, it's the same because the frequencies are the same, and in a good system, they're transmitted very faithfully, so that you can have a very meditative experience, even on a recording.
In fact, we usually, I would say 99% of the time we go to sleep to a recording of the bowls.
Nice.
We just have them.
Your own recording?
Yeah. And is that weird?
No, it's brilliant. You should do it. As long as you're not listening to it saying, oh,
like
oops, I wish I would've
critically.
done that differently.
Yeah.
So that would be my only.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
caveat,
I agree with
to
you.
that, very much so.
Yeah.
Do we have, okay, the bowls are still all these different sizes. So do you want to talk to me a little bit about big versus small?
Well, the pitch is a relationship of thickness versus size. So I have a bowl here. I can't bring it over here so you can see it. That so this bowl and this bowl, the diameters are about the same, but this bowl is very thick. This bowl is not as thick. So,
Oh my gosh, so different.
Yeah, so it is a combination of size and thickness.
Now you use different mallets. Is that the term that
Yeah,
different mallets for them, Michael? What is the distinction between those two?
Well,
Is it
as
based
far
on the
as-
thickness?
Yeah,
Like
so for a smaller bowl, I'll use a smaller diameter
Okay.
striker mallet.
Striker.
And then for bigger bowls, I use this, which is actually a small gong mallet, but it works.
fantastic. Yeah, I had a chance to play with some singing bowls on my birthday weekend earlier this year, and it was just I couldn't wait just to sit down and play, and boy, you get lost in it.
Yeah,
it
you
really
do.
becomes a meditation. I mean, there's different forms of meditation, right?
For sure.
So I think it's
Absolutely.
great, and we need that. And I think people maybe that don't feel that they can sit quietly in meditation and just sit there, please know that this offers such an opportunity.
Oh, definitely. You can even
Right, and
move
you've got
with-
recordings and everything like
Right,
that
you
where
can
people
walk
can find
with
you.
them. I would just
Yeah.
not drive. I mean, I really
Please don't
mean
drive
that.
while
Don't
listening to
drive when
singing.
you'll get lost.
Actually, we
You
had a
won't know
friend-
where you
I
are.
remember one of the first albums I did, my friend who used to work up at Skywalker said she was listening to it and she passed the exit by 5 miles and had to turn around and come back.
And she had worked there
my.
for like 10 years.
Well, you do your jobs very well. All right. So you're going to play us out with one last request
we
here?
have another song
Free
that's
Bird.
in a film that we have. It's
The
screening.
Journey,
The
correct?
Journey, yeah. It's
Okay.
screening at the Fort Myers Film Festival in 3 weeks, which is fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And this piece is called Chandra.
Chandra, I love that word.
Just the moon, Chandra.
So that's how
Shall we back up?
Having a little sound check here, so
Let's
that's
do that.
find the room.
Transformation.
Truth be told, love it. Ooh.
I felt emotional with that. Is there a name for that song?
Oh, Chandra.
Oh yes.
And
Okay,
it
sorry.
means the
I
moon.
left. I
You
went 5
left.
miles
Well, you
past
might
the
have.
exit.
You might have, because I was there. I was somewhere
You're
else
riding along in the same
too.
car.
Okay, I'm laughing.
yeah.
No.
What
That's
does the moon mean for you? Mean to you?
what the mood?
Yeah, the moon.
Oh, Chandra. Oh, I just love the moon. In fact, an astrologer told me that I was born, the moon was nearly full when I was born. So I'm
Just needed you to fill it out.
thank you. Representing as best as I possibly can. So there can be, there's a great saying by a poet named Carl Sandburg. The moon is a friend for the lonely to speak to. And so I guess maybe that's where I was going with your song to that. I mean, just because, right? I mean, you're up there and
Right.
it just, you can't help but have a certain yearning
Yeah.
when that full moon is there.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's just so beautiful and so powerful. You just, I don't know, what can one do?
Right.
I mean, maybe if you're there with somebody and you can kiss a whole
Yeah,
lot,
yeah.
that's good.
That's always good.
And some people maybe once upon a time made sense to you, dancing around a bonfire, drinking
Right.
grog,
Grog. It's grog.
mead, something like that. But no, I think there could be a yearnfulness, but in a beautiful way, romantic, in a romantic kind of way. So wow, the many moods of what you two
Aw.
do, and it's just it's really beautiful to see you working together. I mean, this is a beautiful couple who are just healing each other as they heal all of us.
Thank you.
So, I mean, I just really am thrilled. This was a last minute decision to get you in here to the studio. It's so timely. I mean, I thought it was important to talk about how you're still shiny and you're not downtrodden by what's happened here
thank
in our
you.
beautiful city this year. I mean, it seems like you've got this determination. Like, no, we must continue to play.
It does
and
feel like
share.
a calling. And I just want to thank you truly. Such an honor to meet you in person and to share this energy. And this is a gift. And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for having us on.
Thank
It's
you
so great.
much.
Michael and Jahna, michaelandjahna.com. Just so have a chance to check out what they're doing again. In May 11th,
May
in
11th,
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica, May,
May
22nd,
22nd,
Westwood at the Hammer Museum.
Hammer Museum, as well as an upcoming film called The Journey, if you happen to be listening in Florida.
Yes.
Thank you both for being here. It was such a treat, and
was
I
such a treat.
definitely am not going to miss May 11th, that's for sure.
Yay.
So, Truth Be Told Transformation, everybody, we are really here, just so honored to have this platform to spread the word, give an opportunity for people that are doing great work out there. It's a crazy, challenging time, and we need to come back to our practice whenever we can. For me, this is part of my practice, is getting to talk to you every week. Thank you for sharing what we do. Don't forget Tony Sweet. Of course, who could forget Tony Sweet? So Tony's show airs. He's got new episodes on Friday. And Robert Hensley, yes? Robert is also wilding the world out there, reminding us the return to nature, which is certainly a very important theme to me as well. So here we are, truth be told, just trying to make sure that you all stay shiny. We appreciate all the likes, shares, follows. And until the next time, shine on.